Attention metal freaks, it's Friday night. That means it's Talking Metal on Facebook.
All right.
Bud Friendly.
Welcome back, man. It's been a while. Where you been, man?
I've been quarantining in an undisclosed location in Mark Zuckerberg's basement.
Nice. Of course, Bud Friendly, guys. We've had some requests for him, at least 3 requests for Bud Friendly, right? And he was a big part of our TV show. We used to do a TV show on Fuse, and Bud Friendly was our in-house announcer, along with Metal Mike on guitar, who just played that theme song with Rob Halford. Talking Metal Toast, John, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Let's do the Talking Metal Toast to Bud Friendly.
Oh, with your hosts, Mark and John.
Cheers. I'm
we
drinking
have
some
Simon Wright, drummer Simon Wright on the show tonight from AC/DC and DIO fame, and also the great Ron Keel coming up. Bud Friendly, what are you drinking?
I'm having some gin and some ice cubes.
All right, John, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm drinking, as usual, Dash vodka. So I've got a martini, dirty, like, you made for Emily. It's got some olives in it. And there are little guys in the olives, as Nigel Tufnell said.
I'm drinking the New Jersey beer. This is River Horse, the summer blonde ale, which there's a good chance. I think this may be left over from last summer, but which I don't know if that's bad. But I had taken a bunch of beer to my mom's house, like around Thanksgiving, and I left it there. And we recently went down and visited her, and she wanted me to take all the beer back. So it's been sitting at her house for a while. Good.
Yeah, but I will be switching to the hard stuff. I'm in a different time zone than you are. It is 8 p.m. where I am.
Yeah. It's 8 p.m. here too.
I am in the same time zone as you.
Bud Friendly, it's so great to have you on. It's great
Bud
to see
Friendly
you.
was also, we used to do a live radio stream from Bionic. Remember those, John? What we do?
Those
Bud
were really
Friendly
fun.
was always on those too.
Fantastic memories. Rob Halford, a metal nurse.
Yes, the metal nurse, right?
I
forgot about the metal nurse, right?
Same episode.
Right. Yeah, Rob, you got a good memory, Gary. I mean, Bud Friendly. I'm sorry. Who was I talking about? I don't know who I was talking about, but I had a lapse. Like some of those politicians sometimes have lapses. I just had one.
The mask keeps my brain warm. My voice is very odd tonight.
Bud Friendly is a professional announcer. He really is. No, he's great. We already got a couple of people watching, I believe. I don't know. I can't tell. Yeah, we do. I have a computer here so that I can tell, and we actually do have some people watching. So I am very happy about that. Cool. But we do have a great show. Simon Wright, one of my favorite drummers, is going to be on in about 10 minutes. And then we have Ron Keel, who I've been a fan of since the Steeler days. And so it's going to be a good show. Mark, what'd you do this week?
This week, I mean, we're doing the homeschooling thing, so it's just staying busy with that. And then I still have these like webinar and WebEx work meetings I have to attend here and there. So I do that, and podcasting like crazy. Interviewed Gary from the band Maelstrom today, who reminded me he was on the Talking Metal on, speaking of Bud Friendly, the Talking Metal on Fuse show.
I remember that episode.
People on the couch.
Yes.
What's that?
Yep.
What's that?
Fond memories.
Yeah. So anyways, he has an album that is being released. We have another episode coming up with Carl Kennedy from the Rods, and he produced Anthrax and Overkill, and I'm trying to think of who else. He worked with a bunch of different bands. So anyways, he's a great interview. Ronnie Dio, he has some great Dio stories. So good interview coming up with him on the podcast. And of course, we put the audio from these on the podcast too. So please, everyone, subscribe to the Talking Metal podcast and also to our YouTube page.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Tune in next time on Talking Metal Live.
We're
great, guys. All right.
I like. Actually, guys, we're actually not going to sign off. I'm kidding.
Different types.
I have to, I want to do something before I forget. I want to thank Hank Reeves. I want to thank Ron Osborne, Rich St. Van, Jack Lawler, Michelle and Sherry, who I see are watching. Sherry's driving, but Michelle is watching. Lachey Christoph and David Quinn, I want to thank. And
Bert Gabriel is watching. One of the people who's been
I see he's watching.
Requesting that Bud Friendly come back. So at least
Arun is watching. Arun,
a big
from
Bert Gabriel
the great
and
band
Arun
Hollywood
fan.
Superstars is watching.
Nice. Yeah.
And he said, and then he wants to see Sacred Reich. And then there's one. David Quinn said, "This Bud's for you." He's a new fan. Bud Friendly, you have a brand new fan.
Yeah, they add up. It's just the fans are the most important to me. That's why we're going to take some viewer mail right now. Mark, time for viewer mail.
Right on. No viewer mail right now, but are you on social media? People are wondering, are you on social media?
I was recently on social media. Yes, I'm on the online dating sites.
Okay.
Which one?
Bert Gabriel saying, now this is what I call a family
mask
reunion.
to mask.
Mask to mask.
Oh,
it's a good one.
Only.
Maskhub.com, right? Maskhub.
Yeah. Mask Bear Cub. Footfun. .org.
You got the sunglasses now. I don't think you never used to have the sunglasses.
Again, it is very bright where I am. I'm in a different time zone.
Right on. Bud Friendly, ripping them misfits. Number
yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Bert Gabriel. Hi Ted. Hi Bobby. See, we're looking at the comments now.
Yeah, it's something we haven't been doing in the past. But John, so one of my first concerts, it was probably like my fourth or fifth concert, was coincidentally, this ties in with both guests, because it was AC/DC at the Chicago Rosemont Horizon with Simon on the drums, the Fly on the Wall tour, and Yngwie, the guitar player that Ron Keel basically discovered.
Wow.
Opening up for AC/DC. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is Simon Wright. Simon, how are you?
Simon's connecting to audio.
You want to do an official intro for Simon Wright, Bud? And then maybe we'll catch up with you later?
Sounds good. It's been great to be here, guys. All right, Talking Metal fans, you're here for the stars. You're not here for Bud Friendly. Coming to the main stage, Simon Wright.
Simon is on. We can see Simon, and I see that he's connecting to audio.
Yeah.
Simon,
currently connecting to audio.
It says Simon Wright is connecting to audio. Simon, can you hear us?
Maybe we'll have you hang out until he connects to the audio, Bud.
Oh,
that would be great.
Simon is gone.
Simon's camera went off, but he is still technically on. You know what I think Simon is doing? Waiting until 8:15 possibly. So I think that's what's happening. So let's just hang out, and Simon is still connecting
John, you
to
know
audio.
the rules of show business. If you're 10 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Correct. So we have Simon coming right up, and
to audio.
So we're doing good. So Mark, tell us about this concert. It was
so 1985 at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, and to this day, like when people say, "What were your greatest concerts?" and I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of concerts, that one always sticks out. And no disrespect towards Yngwie, but when AC/DC came on, like you didn't even. He was the hotshot guitar player at that time, 85. Man, but as soon as Angus and Simon and Brian and Malcolm hit the stage, it was all over. I mean, it was just like,
wow.
It was one of the most powerful shows. And I was pretty close up front, not front row, but fairly close up. It was assigned seating, but as soon as they went on, everyone just pushed and ran up. And to this day, one of my most memorable concerts. And of course, when the cannons came out at the end for those about to rock, that I always say was the loudest moment I ever experienced.
Man, that's so cool.
Because nowadays when AC/DC tours, the cannons, because I've seen them a number of times, they come up, but they're not actual cannons. They're just like, and there's like a sound effect going, and smoke kind of,
comes out a little bit
out
of
it,
fog or something.
Where back in the day, they were actual cannons with gunpowder. So they would shove the thing in the cannon, and they would blow up 2 of them, and they'd just be blowing up. And there was the whole arena was just, you could smell the smoke, and if you know what gunpowder smells like, that's what the whole arena smelled like. And it was so deafening and loud. But the power that they had and the presence on stage and the energy, because I've seen AC/DC many times, and each time the energy level kind of went down. I'm sure that's just because they were getting older. But that concert, I just was blown away. Angus, just nonstop movement, And
that is so cool.
I hear you, Mark, about the things not being the same. I recently saw Alice Cooper. He apparently the Guillotine Act. They no longer cut his head off like they used to. Back in the day, they would cut Alice's head off and have to sew it back on before the encore, which of course would be Schools Out. But now it is just some sort of magical illusion. It's a fake head. I don't know, maybe he has too much scar tissue and can't do the full cut.
So they really did it back in the day for real.
Yeah, perhaps he's on some sort of blood thinners and he would have a bleeding problem.
Right on.
But that's a little known fact.
Hey,
he used to cut his own head off every night.
I have to do something, and you guys are going to laugh, but I have to change my lighting, but I can only do it by saying something to Alexa. So Alexa, turn spotlights yellow. Okay, it happened. Turn spotlights 40%.
But speaking of Alice Cooper, last night I watched a documentary, the first episode of a documentary called Laurel Canyon, and Alice Cooper is in it. And it's about this area of Los Angeles called Laurel Canyon, where all these different people lived, like Neil Young and Alice Cooper and Frank Zappa and Joni Mitchell, and how they all kind of came together. The Monkees lived there too. So it's the Mamas and the Papas. So it's pretty interesting. And Alice was right in that community with everyone back in the, I guess, like late 60s. The Doors. Wow. The Doors had moved from Venice out to Laurel Canyon. So.
You know what? I was watching a documentary as well. I don't know if it was the Linda Ronstadt documentary, but it was talking about an area like that out in one of those canyons.
Linda Ronstadt, I believe, lived in Laurel Canyon too. Yeah.
Okay, so then it must have been the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Maybe a little later. I'm not sure, but it could have been. Yeah. But a cool documentary. That was the first episode, and I guess it goes on. It's all about music that comes from California. So
nice,
interesting.
But what is? Hey, we got Simon.
Hey.
Simon, how are you?
Thanks for coming on the show. Good. We really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound great, and we can see you look great too.
That's cool.
So everybody, welcome to the show. Simon Wright. He's played with so many great bands, including AC/DC, DIO, Queensryche, Rhino Bucket, Hellion. It's amazing. How you doing out in California, Simon?
Yeah, doing okay, considering.
Right.
Yeah.
So Simon, the last time I hung out with you in person was a great night at the Canyon Club in Agora Hills. You came down to see Ace Frehley play, and let me tell you, the Ace show was great, but me, as a fan of yours, I was more excited to hang out with Simon Wright that night. So that was cool.
Cheers, John. Thanks, man. Hey, I ran into you. We did some shows with Ace, remember, with Jeff Tate Queensryche?
Yes, I do remember that, right.
And when I saw you, you were carrying Ace up the stairs.
Oh, no. I think I was just standing behind him because Ace has her horrible balance, so that's what it probably was. I remember those shows. We did those in Florida.
Was it Florida?
Florida, yep. Mm-hmm. We were down in Florida together. Those were great shows and great venues, theaters. It was a theater we did, I remember.
Yeah.
And Yeah. We had some great shows, and I hope we do those again. That would be another great bill if we put that together, you guys. And do you still occasionally talk to Jeff?
Yeah. I talk to him now and again, but I'm not really involved in it anymore because things kind of changed. You know, Rudy Sarzo left, and his brother left, and Kelly Gray got some other work going on. So the band all kind of changed around a little bit.
I see.
And then he changed the name because he had to. He changed it to Operation Mindcrime. And I did that for a little bit, but those were some great shows. Ace was playing really well. It was great shows. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
and Simon, we were just talking about your incredible career. I was reminiscing with John before you joined us about seeing you with AC/DC for the first time back in 1985. That was the Fly on the Wall tour. And just when I've seen hundreds and hundreds of concerts at this point in my life, and that always stands out as one of my favorites. And I will tell you another concert that you played that, again, it has to be top 15 for me. And that was with DIO at the Beacon Theater in New York City, probably about 12, 15 years ago. Do you remember that show?
Yeah. It's funny how you always kind of remember, I don't know why it is, but I always remember the New York shows. I think it's because they're kind of just crazy. The Beacon's in New York, right?
Yeah, theater in Manhattan on the Upper West Side. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Because it's like we got a lot of friends in New York anyway, so they usually come to the shows and stuff, and we hang out and all, and go eat Italian the next day and stuff like that. Ronnie had some good friends. I got good friends there and stuff, but yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, that was a great show, and that, of course, was you with Ronnie, and I believe it was Craig Goldie on guitar, Rudy Sarzo on bass on that tour. Okay. And, I wanted to mention that an album that you and Craig did with Ronnie, and I guess it would have been Jimmy Bain on bass, just turned 20 recently. That's Magica. And I wanted to know if you could share any memories of that record, being that it just turned 20 years old.
Yeah, it was a good time. With Ronnie and Craig, we spent a lot of time in the studio demoing it, and there was some really magic moments. They would be plinking away there on these little riffs, and I'd kind of have to go out and do something, come back, and they had created this epic song. It was just amazing how things would develop. And there was a really good feeling of camaraderie. It was we were really strong, and Ronnie had some great ideas, and it was just a great time. And I think the album turned out great too. So yeah,
it did. And Jimmy Bain was on that record. I know you played he was on a couple of the DIO records with you, or was it 3? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
What did he do? Yeah, we did Killing the Dragon together and Magica.
Right. Yeah. And what was Jimmy like? Because we, of course, lost him a couple of years back. Any memories you can share about your relationship with him?
Yeah, Jimmy's great. He's always has a smile on his face. I mean, we'd often sneak out the hotel, go find a fish and chip shop in Europe and stuff like that. And he was easy to get along with. He's a very friendly guy and a hell of a bass player. And he's sadly missed, Yeah. Great
Absolutely.
guy.
So, Simon, I have so many questions for you, but since we've been talking about DIO, I want to stick with the DIO subject for a while. Now, most recently, you were doing the DIO Returns shows with the hologram, and that is such an amazing thing. Just tell us how that came about and how that was.
It was an idea by a guy called Jeffrey Pizzuti, who has a company called Illusion, and he approached Wendy with the idea of it, and Wendy liked the idea. She put it to us, and we all kind of liked the idea. That would be me and Scott Warren, Craig Goldie, Ripper Owens, Oni Logan, and Bjorn England, our bass player. And we liked the idea, and probably 3-4 months after that, Jeff came up and showed us what he'd been working on, and it looked really good. You know, and then things went on a little bit more. We got in the rehearsal studio with the hologram. And when I first saw it up, you know, up like that in a, you know, a rehearsal place, it was like you know, the hair on my arms was standing up. It was like, good God, this is amazing stuff, you know?
Wow.
Because a lot of people love Ronnie's music, you know, but they never got a chance to see him. It's amazing how many never got to see him perform live. So this is a, you know, a fitting tribute to him that we're doing here. And a lot of people would knock it and say we were doing the wrong thing and it's sacrilegious and we're trying to raise the dead, which is absolute bullshit. You know, he was like a father to all of us. We're doing this with total respect. So yeah, we took it out June of last year, and it started off kind of slow, but by the end of June, it ended up being, you know, the shows were pretty much close to sold out. So we were going to carry on, actually, taking a little bit of a break, but we were going to carry on in February, and, you know, all this Corona shit started up. So,
right.
Yeah, but hopefully next year something will be organized.
I would love to see that. And I also do know Jeff, and I spoke to him years ago about this, just his whole hologram project. And it's so cool. I think it's amazing that even you said that when you saw that hologram in the studio, it made the hairs on your arm stand up. Like you got the chills seeing that. Well,
I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to see it first. I thought it was a good idea, right. But I was kind of like, okay, let's see what you got, you know? And then I got to see it, and yeah, it was quite a shock, you know.
That is amazing.
You know, you got Craig next to Ronnie, and Bjorn is next to him up on the riser, and it looked like, holy shit, you know, this looks pretty damn good, you know. But
very cool.
Yeah, we're not trying to resurrect the dead here. It's entertainment, you know.
Right, and I love what you said. It's a tribute, and you know, all the people that have negative comments and stuff like that. I think they should just be disregarded. And
well, it's like if you really feel strongly about it, you know, and you don't like it, don't go. It's no problem,
right.
You know.
Right.
It's either way.
And like you said, for a lot of fans who didn't get a chance to see Dio, this is a cool thing. And for a lot of the people who did see him, this is a real fitting and 100%, you know, I can't think of the word, but it's a tribute that's worthy of having you guys all do that. And you're sincere. That's what it is. It's a sincere tribute, and I think it's amazing. And I'd rather go see that than not go out and see you guys play. I love that you guys are doing it.
Yeah, we all feel very strongly about it. It's a fitting tribute to him.
Now, Simon,
Absolutely.
At one point there was some talk going around that the Dio disciples were actually working on new original music. Can you expand on that? Is that true?
Oh yeah, we did. We've done 5 or 6 good demos. They need figuring out the songs. Me and Craig wrote some stuff. Bjorn brought in some stuff too. But we kind of took a right turn to deal with the hologram. So Dio Disciples is kind of like on the moment. And also, you know, if you're talking about a Dio Disciples album, the way the demos are and the songs, they're kind of different to each other. They're different kind of styles. So, and it was a conversation that we were having with ourselves about which direction we should go in. So I think when we resume back to Dio Disciples, we have to figure out like the direction that we're going in to create a Dio Disciples sound, you know, and it'll have touches of Dio in it, obviously, because of the way that Craig spent so much time with Ronnie and me as well. I have ideas as well, but you know, we want to try and create its own sound.
Absolutely. So I'm going to take it a little back before Dio, Simon, and I want to, you know, most of our listeners are heavy metal fans like us, and they're familiar with their history, but we do have some new listeners who are younger and some who are just getting into heavy metal. And I want to talk about AC/DC, and Tell us how that whole thing came about of you joining AC/DC and going on to play on many of the really important AC/DC records. And they're all important, but you played on some classic records.
Yeah, it started. I wasn't doing much. I was living in London. I come from Manchester, but I'd moved down to London, and there was an ad in the newspaper, a music newspaper, and it said drummer wanted. If you don't hit hard, don't apply. So a friend of mine said, you should answer that. That's you.
Wow.
Excuse me. So I answered it anyway, and I got a call back, and they said, can you come down tomorrow? And it was a big rehearsal place, fancy big place in London called No Miss. And so I go down and I get there, and it's the drum tech is there with a drum kit and a PA and monitors. And he said, can you play to these 3 tracks? And it was Led Zeppelin, Black Dog, ZZ Top Tush, and AC/DC Shoot to Thrill. So I played them as best I knew them. I kind of knew them all, but I just got through it.
Had they told you the 3 songs ahead of time?
Yeah.
And did you? So, this is a technical thing, but did you hear the music in headphones? Like, did you play to a track?
The drum kit was mic'd, but the music was coming through the monitors.
Wow, that's really hard to do that, drummers. All you drummers out there, because you have to play perfectly in time with pre-recorded music.
Yeah, I said that to the tech, and he said, "Oh, mate, he's a Welsh guy from Wales in England." He said, "Oh, don't you worry there. I'll make it really loud for you." So,
I love it.
So he cranked it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
So you played through these 3 songs for him.
Yeah, I did the songs, and I kind of did okay. Black Dog's hard, because of the count. You don't really hear it, but anyway, I got through it.
And you didn't at that point know it was AC/DC, right?
No, I had no idea.
Wow.
I knew it, obviously, because of the way the rehearsal place was. I knew it was a band who had money, because it's really expensive to rehearse there. So I thought, okay, this is cool. So anyway, I finished up. He said, that was great. And I went home, and he called me back about 3 hours later, and he said, can you come back tomorrow? And I'm like, well, not really. No, I haven't got any money, because I was pretty broke. So he said, well, don't worry about that. Get yourself in a taxi and come down. So I got I thought, oh, that's good. So they're paying me to come back. So that's good. They're paying me already. That's great. Yeah. So I go back anyway. And he's walking me through the place to a different rehearsal room. And we're passing all these flight cases with AC/DC written on them. And wow. I'm just going, oh, shit. Wow. So I said, I sort of tapped him on the shoulder, and I looked at him and I went, you're kidding, right? And he went, no.
Wow.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So, I just carried on, and he opened the door, and I went in, and it was Angus and Cliff and Mal. Brian wasn't there. I think he was back in Florida, but they all said, hi, hey, how you doing? And they were all super down to earth, like, just regular people, no rock star stuff going on. And they were like, what do you know? So I was like, and I'd played AC/DC songs before, obviously, like Rosie and Back in Black and Let It Be Rock. So we ran through some stuff, and, it was great. It seemed really easy, because of, Malcolm is a killer rhythm player. God bless him. Cliff is solid as all can be, and then Angus is on top of that. It's just amazing. But we took a break, and there's like a sitting area, and they started talking about the tour and stuff and everything. And I'm, and the conversations they were having were kind of like usually private, I imagine, right. So I'm like, does this mean I'm in the band? And Mal says, yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? So
that is awesome. That is
amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All because you saw an ad in the newspaper. I mean, that's even more mind blowing, that it wasn't like, some rock star recommending somebody to them. I mean, and it speaks volumes. You mentioned how they were just normal guys. You know, I'm imagining, I always think kind of this working class vibe. And here, instead of pulling in some like famous studio musician drummer, they gave somebody, an unknown like yourself, a chance to.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what an amazing story, Simon.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. I'll always, you know, be thankful to them for the break that I got there, which was enormous. Yeah. They're great people.
Simon, Mark was just telling the story that he saw you guys at the Rosemont Horizon, which is outside of Chicago, right, Mark?
Correct. Yes.
Now, why don't you tell Simon what tour that was? And I just think it's amazing, like, that you were at that show, like, back in the day, seeing something like that. So
yeah,
Mark,
that would have been, I think, 85. That was Fly on the Wall.
Yeah.
And you guys, I remember Yngwie opened, who at the time was like the big hotshot guitar player. But it was just like, by the time AC/DC and, you know, Angus just came out on stage, Yngwie was just an afterthought, you know, and it was the energy level that they put out during that concert. And I continued to see AC/DC every year or every tour through the years. And that was the first time I saw them with you. And there was, that energy level was never matched ever again on that tour. And I was just telling John that now when they tour, the cannons that come out are like, they're fake, you know, and it's a sound effect. But back in those days, when the cannons would go off,
oh yeah,
it was gunpowder, and we could the whole arena just smelled like gunpowder.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it was on that tour, they turned the cannons in a little bit too, towards the middle of the stage, just a little bit.
Right.
Or maybe it was a tour afterwards. So anyway, with it, they'd go off, and all the wadding and all the crap would fall on the drum kit, you know. I'm like, hey, move these bloody cannons, will ya?
That's classic. Oh man,
Also, it's coming down on me.
That is funny. So, I mean, now when you guys recorded, I mean, such classic records like Fly on the Wall, how did you start out with the recording process? Was it you and Cliff just doing tracks together, or how did you guys approach that?
We'd all get together, all of us at the same time, and Malcolm and Angus would come in with ideas, with tape cassettes, you know. Back then it was like Walkmans and stuff, and you know, Malcolm's ideas were a little bit more cohesive and worked out, if I remember rightly, and Angus's were a little bit kind of not as worked out and stuff, but you could get a good idea of where they were going, and we'd start and we'd work on a riff, and it would go so far, and then it would need, we'd take a break because it needed something else to it, and just develop the songs like that. It was ideas by Malcolm and Angus, and also, and Brian would be scribbling down lyrics and try to get a start on things.
And then once you had all the songs ready and written, and you were heading to actually start the recording process, who did you do the drum tracks and like the scratch? Did they do scratch tracks and you played like your real to try to get your real drum track, or did y'all play together, or how did that work?
Well, sometimes on Malcolm's demos there was a drum machine, which is fine. It just gives you a little bit of direction as to where he's thinking, and it just gets the idea flowing. Sometimes the drum idea would change. But yeah, it was, you just kind of, you keep it pretty straight and pretty solid, as their songs are, which is cool, so they just develop from there, really. You start playing them and adopt the feel, because sometimes drum machines, as we know, are a bit kind of like stiff. So you have to keep playing it and get the groove right. And then just line up the songs, done. That one's done. That's good enough. And then we move to the studio and start recording them.
And nice. Simon, somebody we have, we're streaming this live. It'll also go out as a podcast and be put on YouTube. But Ted on Facebook is asking, he says he loves your sound. He said, what kind of snare drum do you use?
Well, in a lot of the AC/DC stuff, in fact, all of it was Sonar drums.
Okay.
And Fly on the Wall was a pretty, oh God, what did I use again? God, such a long time ago. I was using a copper over brass. It was like 11 inches deep. It was a huge, big drum.
That's huge.
I liked it. It was just too heavy, to lift the thing. It took two people.
11 inches deep. Do you keep it high, or did you have a low snare stand?
Oh, it was. It just was low. Yeah, I have it high for where I have them. And the stand was way down there. It was like. Weird. But then there was also a wood snare that I used, which was Babinga, and that was more of a regular drum. I think that was about a 6.5, maybe.
Nice.
So nothing. I basically hadn't done a lot of recording, so I wasn't sure what I was going to use. I mean, I brought those drums in, and there was a couple of others that were there too. There was a highlight snare drum, which was totally opposite of the copper one, which was super light, but it had a fantastic sound. So we chopped and changed it a bit.
Nice. So Simon, now Mark, you said that was the Fly on the Wall tour that you saw?
Simon, I saw the next tour too.
Oh yeah, you saw. Yeah. Okay, so Who Made Who tour? Simon, were you guys playing outdoor places or arenas or both?
Oh, arenas.
It was a lot of arenas, yeah, Mark, and there was some outdoor stuff, I think, too. It's hard to remember. It all seems a bit of a blur.
Yeah, I saw that tour in Philly, actually. But it's such a great run with AC/DC. I wanted to, maybe segue, because we've obviously AC/DC, an enormous band, Ronnie James Dio, legendary. But you did play with UFO in the 90s when Shanker was back in the band, and wondering, it was kind of, you had sort of the classic lineup plus you going with UFO at that time. And that was always such in the 70s, we would always read stories about how that was such a turbulent combination of personalities. What was that like with you being in UFO and guys like Michael Shanker and Pete Way and Phil? How did you get along with everyone, and how did they get along with each other?
Well, I got along with them all fine. Michael and, Phil Mogg is an absolute gentleman, classy guy. Pete Way is all, rock and roll. He's very quiet. Paul Raymond, my good friend Paul Raymond, who passed, we had a lot of time together in different steakhouses, testing their wine cellars. And Michael was fine with me. I always got along with him fine. There were no shouting fights, not with me, but there were a couple of occasions where it got a little bit testy with the other guys. And as you said earlier, it's the classic UFO with me. And it was like, I had no idea what they were all fighting about. It was like, what the fuck is going on now, But there were some tense moments, but there's also some really good shows. I mean, it was just a great band to be in. It's a great, playing more or less when I think we did, when I joined, I can't remember exactly what it was, 94, 95. And I left in 98, but the band finished in 98. But I mean, you're playing the whole Strangers in the Night, basically, the UFO live album, and it's just brilliant. I was brought up on that stuff, and now I'm actually in Chicago playing it with UFO. It's like, holy shit, it's one of those moments, but they're really great people, I mean, they're a bit of a curiosity, but they're great people.
Amazing.
Well, you did that one record. You did was it one studio record with them? Covenant, right?
No, I never recorded
never
in the studio with them. We were going to, and then it all just imploded. But I think there's a live CD attached to Covenant that I played on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
And you also played with Rhino Bucket, and you did 3 records with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how did that all come about?
Just through a friend of a friend, really. I was living up in Fresno, and I moved back down LA, and there wasn't much going on. It was one of those times. And a friend told me about this band, and she said, "Here, listen to this album. They're looking for a drummer." So I listened to it. I'm going, "Man, that's good. That's cool." I mean, it's got the AC/DC vibes to it, obviously, but the way they did it was really cool, I thought, So we met up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we met up in a restaurant, and we all got along straight away. It was, it was really cool. We all just all had the same ideas. We all had the same sense of humor, and we became great friends and stuff and all. Yeah.
You played with so many people, and something that I think is great is that you also played with your girlfriend Anne Boleyn in Hellion, which is a great band. I saw something you did, and that was a little bit of a heavier style than, for example, like the AC/DC or even the DIO kind of stuff. Tell us about that and about her project.
Yeah, well, she was getting ready to do another album. She hadn't done an album or made any music. Because when Hellion stopped about, I can't remember the exact years, but anyway, Hellion stopped for a while, and she went and got a law degree, and now she's a lawyer. But,
wow, that's great.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman, and after a while, she wanted to get back into music again. So she called me up, and we met and stuff, and she wanted some help getting players together for a new Hellion. And she asked all the past members of Hellion if they wanted to be involved, and none of them did. So because they'd all moved on, they were older and stuff, and so I found, and she found, guitar player, bass player, and we just formed this new Hellion and all, and we started writing new music, me and Anne and Max Carlisle, and we just did it. She wanted to do it for fun, and it turned out to be really good.
Yeah, the stuff is great. And what I like, Simon, and I know you've done this not just with Hellion, but you are not just a drummer, you're a writer too. You co-write these songs.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find a guitarist who's susceptible to that's really cool, and I have.
Right.
Many times. Me and Craig write together a hell of a lot, and writing with Max from Hellion, he'd done some stuff, but his stuff that he'd written was really good, but it was kind of samey. It was all like super fast, So I came in and I said, well, no, let's move this part and we'll do halftime on that, and instead of hitting the notes, just play the chords over it, and that gives space for vocals, and you just develop it from there. I mean, I'm no expert. I just try to explain what I'm hearing,
Well, Simon, you sound like you're also, in addition to a writer, a drummer, like that's production. So I love that. I think it's great. And plus you've been in the studio so much that you know how to put together a song.
Yeah. We did. I was the producer on the Hellion, that 5-song thing and all, and me and Anne were, and Wyn Davis was the engineer and all. So, it's just from having been in the studio so much,
Yeah.
We did all of Ronnie's albums with Wyn Davis, so he was there.
Nice.
And,
that's great that you are comfortable with an engineer that you like and that you've worked with in the past.
Yeah, that's the best way when you're doing it with your friends.
Right. Man, I don't think we've ever had a guest on Talking Metal, Mark, who has played with so many legendary musicians.
Yeah,
from
really
the guys in
impressive.
UFO, Shanker.
And I wanted to say that
how many guests have you had though?
No, we've had a lot. I swear to God, we've had just about everybody. Maybe not on the Facebook version, but on the regular version. I guarantee you, Simon, I bet you've got the record. You've got the record.
I wanted to mention Hellion too. It's almost full circle because of your relationship with Ronnie. I know he produced like one of their original demo or EP or something. He was involved with them back in the day, as I think Wendy was too. Yeah,
they were for a while there. Yeah, he was helping Anne write songs and stuff, and obviously her bandmates were blown away. It's because I think Anne knew Wendy, the opportunity just came along. I mean, Ronnie liked some of the songs that had already been written by Hellions, and he wanted to get involved. They needed a producer and stuff, and a writer. So, yeah, that worked out. I think he helped out with Run for Your Life. Yeah, it's cool.
And, I wanted to ask you a little bit about California before we let you go, but I know you were in Australia recently, right?
Yes, I was there in November.
Yeah, and tell everybody what you were doing down there, because I know, but it's really exciting, I thought.
Yeah, it's we usually do it every year. It's like a Bon Scott kind of tribute, but it's Australian musicians who are they've had a lot of success over there. It's really strange, Australia. It's you have lots of, because I think it's so far away. You have lots of success, but you don't have it around outside the rest of the world. Yeah, right, and it's a real shame because there's some brilliant musicians over there in Australia. And it was like the likes of my friend James Morley. He played with the Angels, another Australian great band. And lots of different Australian musicians come in and play. And it's like a celebration and all. It's like a big night for Bon Scott.
Well, Bon Scott is another amazing musician, and I thought that was such a cool project. And I knew when you were doing that because I must have read something online, and I constantly, as I said, following your career. So I knew you went down there. So I definitely wanted to ask you about that. Now, okay, before we let you go, I love your Facebook posts, and how are you doing being cooped up, and are you getting out there or what? How's life in California right now in LA?
Well, it's strange. I mean, it was really horrible, and like it is for everybody. 3 or 4 weeks ago, because you could not go anywhere. I mean, you go to the store and you come back, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that was bad enough. Now it's opening up a little bit because I think people are screw it. We've had enough. We're not staying in here anymore. It's just forget it. Some of the stats don't add up for me with regards to the seriousness of what happened. I won't get into that, but but it's strange right now. You're asking me now because some of the restaurants are opening up now. We actually ate inside of a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's weird. You're going, should I take the mask off now before I take another bite, or should I put it back on or leave it on, or should I put you don't know what to do,
Right. I know. I was even up until yesterday, I'm wearing gloves everywhere I go. I think I might drop the gloves. I might drop the gloves and just use hand sanitizer. But
yeah, that's what I've been doing, hand sanitizer. Yeah, it's
very good.
But it's becoming a regular routine now. When I stop doing it, that's going to be weird.
Yeah, I know. And when we can go out without masks and hand sanitizer, it's going to be pretty amazing. And I can't even believe that this is happening. This is like a movie,
Absolutely.
Weird times for sure. Some strange times. But Simon, it's always great talking with you. I think this is my second interview that I've done with you, and we love hearing the stories. And I mean, it's been 10 years now since Ronnie left us, so it's really great to connect with somebody that Ronnie admired so much and valued so much. So thank you so much for spending some time with us.
No problem, Mark. And I do remember speaking to you before. I can't exactly remember when, but
probably about. I'm thinking it was maybe 2 years ago or so. I'm not sure. I would have to look, but.
Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. It's good talking with you guys.
Thank you. And Simon, I hope that we get to meet up when our bands are playing on tour again sometime soon. No matter what band you're with, it'll be fun. With Ace, and my band's been opening up for Ace too now, so maybe we'll all do a show together.
That's cool. And that's a hell of a selection of guitars you got there, buddy.
Thank you. These are, and believe it or not, Simon, I'm a drummer. That's why I'm like such a fan, because I'm really a drummer. But now in my current band, I play guitar. So yeah, I've got a lot of Les Pauls here. I used to work for Gibson, so That's why there's a bunch of Gibsons there. But
you must have a lot of picks.
I did. I got a lot of guitars and a lot of picks. Simon, thank you again. And if you're ever back here in New York, get in touch with us. We'd love to go have a beer together. And I'm going to call you when I'm back out in LA.
Sounds good, John. You take care, brother.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you so much.
Cheers,
Simon.
Mark. All the best, Mark. Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Simon.
See ya.
All right. Simon Wright, ladies and gentlemen, legendary drummer. And I know we had some questions coming in on Facebook. I'm sorry I didn't get to all those. But we have another legendary guy, Ron Keel, one of my favorite rockers throughout time. And he has a great new album out south by South Dakota. I have to go to the bathroom, John, because I finished my beer and something happened. As soon as I turned 50, my bladder must have shrunk or something. I can't hold it like I used to. Sorry, is that too much information?
No, that's all right. That's all right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look on Facebook, and this is going to be a candid moment. We got about 10 minutes, 8 minutes before. Oh, God. See, the sound is on. I want to take that down. And why don't I answer Facebook comments for the next 5 minutes?
I'm going to put it on mute so you can avoid hearing my dog and people in my house yelling. And I will be right back in less than 2 minutes.
A few minutes. Okay. And guys, here's what I'm going to do. I got my phone out. I got a computer, but believe it or not, I think it's easier for me to look at my phone and do this. So let's go down here. Okay. And I'm going to look at the comments. If they let me scroll, see, that's the thing. Theo Wargo, who I love, he's a great photographer. He just said Bon for Bon Scott. That's great. David Quinn really enjoyed everything. Vinny Galore said hi, Simon. Rich said tea break. Rich, you got to come down here and just hang out and watch us live sometime. If you're not worried about the COVID, come on down to my place in Jersey City. Rich just lives near here. And Theo said, check your prostate. Let's see. You know what the strange thing about this Facebook comments is it's not as easy to read the comments as you would think it would be. And we have Angela Crowley. She says, great show. Thank you, Angela. And guys, we have a blast doing this. I have such a fun time doing this, and I'm used to looking at the screen and talking to someone. Now I'm looking at the screen and talking to myself. But anyway, we have a great guest coming up, Ron Keel. And let me tell you about Ron. I first heard of Ron Keel when I was in high school, and my friends Don Reese and Mike Corsi and Louis Kiss, and they were. Maybe in high school, we were all in high school at that point, and they came to me with basically, here's how it happened. Mark, I'm telling a little story, and then I'll fill you in. I'm telling how I first heard about Ron Keel. So I had these older friends that would come and tell me about music, and then I'd download all that to my next door neighbor, Brian Borges, and the people in the neighborhood, and it was a cool thing. Jim Steffish and Bob Kovac. So what happened, Kurt Mangus, a lot of cool people. But my friends, Mark, had the Steeler album, and Ron was on that, and I believe Rick Fox and Yngwie, of course, was like the big thing. And my two friends, Mike and Don, were guitar players, so they loved Yngwie. And so that's when I first heard of Ron Keel. And then being such a Kiss fan, when Keel came out and they got involved with Gene Simmons, that was, anything Kiss related was something that I was like super into. And Mark, I think you're.
Yeah. And that Keel record, which technically was the second Keel record, Right to Rock.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The Right to Rock. That album very much had Ron Keel's personality all over it, but there's also some. Gene was heavily involved in that too, and you can hear some of Gene's personality on that too, which was always something I liked about Gene's production, that he always threw a little bit of himself into the bands, and you heard that with Black and Blue and Keel, and I know that Smashed Gladys, he produced them too, right? And can you, before Ron joins us, which probably is going to be in any minute or second here. Can you just talk about Smash Gladys? And we lost Sally, right? Who was,
Smash Gladys was a great band, and they got involved with Gene for the Social Intercourse record. I believe that's the one Gene produced, and I may be incorrect on that, but that's the one where I learned all the songs on that record because I played one show with them. But Smash Gladys was a great band. Bart Lewis and Sally Cato, late Sally Cato, who just recently passed away, and it's such a shock. They formed the group together with a lot of other great musicians from New York, and they were a great band. I really think that they were on the level of a Guns N' Roses or an LA Guns or any of these bands. They were like a New York version of that style of music. And, you know, I really wish I was in New York City at that time period when they were going strong. Because it would have been great to see them back in their heyday. I played with Smash Gladys a little later in their career for a Hell's Angels benefit at Lemoore in Brooklyn, and I spent a lot of time with Sally and Bart and the other members of the band, but mainly Sally and Bart. And they taught me, both Sally and Bart, so much about music. Even the way that if I go into the studio to play a drum track right now, I play it differently because of what I learned from those guys, and they taught me so much. And I really think they were great band.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what one Gene produced for them.
Yeah,
I don't
check
think
it out.
It was that Social Intercourse record, but
It wasn't.
I don't think so.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe that was
it on
the
his
first
label
one.
or something. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe he didn't produce the record. Maybe he was working with them before Social Intercourse came out. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it says he produced. Here it is. He claims to have discovered them, and he produced their 1985 demo. Is what I'm reading.
Oh, hey, we've got Ron Keel, and we've got the legendary vocalist Ron Keel joining us.
Hopefully it's Ron. I can't tell. He's got the mask on there.
Maybe Ron.
Good evening, boys.
Ron, how are you, man?
How are you?
Great, man. Great.
We've got the metal cowboy. It's definitely Ron Keel, even with the mask. We can tell by the tattoos.
Man, I've enjoyed the first hour of the show with Simon Wright. What a great interview and great discussion with Simon. We have so many common threads between Simon and I with DIO and some of the guys, Jimmy Bain that you talked about. I'm wearing the mask, not because I haven't trimmed my beard in the last week, but because I'm going to go out looting and pillaging later on this evening. So I don't want any facial recognition.
Right.
There's the mask.
Ron, thank you so much for coming. And I love that you've got the graphic on your computer right behind you.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Ron, thank you so much. I know that you've known Mark for many years, but I had the chance to meet you in it. No, that wasn't Atlanta. What city was that?
It was Atlanta. The Atlanta Kiss Expo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that was
Vinnie
Atlanta.
Vincent as the special guest. And
Yeah.
great to see you again, John. And
Thank
Mark
you.
Striegel.
Thank you,
God,
Ron.
thank you guys so much for having me on tonight. We're going to have a good time. I don't know if I can follow the Simon Wright interview, but I'll do the best I can.
You can,
what a great
absolutely.
discussion.
You can.
Fantastic.
You know what, Ron? You have so much history that we want to get into, but I want to tell you that the South by South Dakota record is great. Every song is awesome. The Creedence medley, we're going to get into all this, but I'm just telling you that I love this record, and it did something for me. I'm sincere about this, that not any other recent album has done. It got me excited about music again.
Man, that means a lot to me. And that's what it's all about. Releasing an album that makes us remember why we fell in love with rock and roll and music in the first place. And so many bands release a cover album to fill time between major releases, or because, well, we don't have any new songs, let's do a cover album. This new album was totally organic and natural in the studio. As we're warming up for the Fight Like a Band sessions last year, we just go in the studio and start rocking out to Flirting with Disaster or Rocking Into the Night from 38 Special. And I realized after 3 or 4 days that my producer, Mike Dresch was recording the sessions.
Nice.
And I said, let me hear that back. Let's listen back to that. And I heard some of those raw, basic takes and realized, man, this is the foundation of something very special. And we can pay tribute to some of those classic rock / Southern rock icons. And then we started adding songs to the list and rounded out the whole album. And it was basically a different project than I've ever done in my life. I've always gone into the studio with a game plan and a blueprint. And Gene Simmons, as you discussed, producing Gene Simmons as a producer, he taught me to always be prepared, have your pre-production done, have your kick patterns and your bass lines all lined up. And with this record, there was none of that. There was just a bunch of guys in the studio having a good time, playing music that we love. And I think that shows on the recordings that we're listening to now with South by South Dakota.
Absolutely. And I was listening to this record the last few days, and I, again, just love it. I love the 38 special cover, Flirting with Disaster. I mean, one of my all-time favorite songs, and you do a great job with it. Excellent. Playing guitar again, because the guitar part is spot on.
Well, there's a lot of guitars on these Southern rock records.
Yeah.
What I love about the guitar structures of these songs is there's multiple. Sometimes there's 3-part harmonies. DC Cawthorn, Steve Purcell, Jason Haven, and myself all playing guitar at the same time.
Wow.
And that's you're building some big guitars on a record like this, like we did back in the 80s with the Somebody's Waiting track and all those records we did with Michael Wagner. He taught me how to stack up guitars, and I just have taken it to a new extreme with this South by South Dakota record.
Yeah, great. It's a great listen. We highly recommend it. Now, I called John earlier today, and we were talking about the record, and he was like, you know what song I love? And you guys got to fill me in on this. It's a Skynyrd song, Red, White, and Blue. And I heard the song in the record. I'm a pretty big 70s era Skynyrd fan. I don't know that song. Tell me about this song.
Oh, dude.
I love you got the guitar from the video.
Well,
It sounds great.
Once we decided, after 4 or 5 takes, I listened back to the tracks and realized we've got the foundation of something very special here. We've got to make a Southern rock tribute record, and we've got to include each one of those iconic Southern rock legendary bands.
Right.
Like Molly Hatchet, Skynyrd, Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker Band, 38 Special. Red, White, and Blue is one of the songs that I've been doing in the show for years.
Wow.
I didn't even realize that it was a top 30 hit for Skynyrd back in 2003. But we've been doing it in the show. And rather than tread on sacred ground like Sweet Home Alabama or Give Me 3 Steps or Freebird, let's include, we got to include a Skynyrd song, but let's do the one that we've been doing on stage for the last 5 years. And it just resonates. You know, Johnny and Donnie Van Zant wrote the song in 2001, right after the 9/11 attacks. And it still resonates with us. Today, I think Red, White, and Blue is as strong and as powerful as it ever was. To record that song and include that song on the record and have the new video for Red, White, and Blue, making so much, well, it's getting a lot of attention. It means a lot to us that we can record that song, and hopefully the guys in Skynyrd have heard it and will approve and know that I'm just trying to pay tribute to one of my heroes or one of my favorite bands of all time.
Absolutely.
It's a great song, Ron, and I love the way you guys make it your own. And I wanted to talk about the video, which is just an amazing video. And the thing that I loved about it is that each of you guys were in a different setting, and you were at places you were at landmarks in South Dakota, and then other cool things like on top of a Kenworth truck or in front of a jet. And I'm telling you, I haven't saw a video or heard a song that made me feel like that has. And I swear, this is a thing we do in Pennsylvania. Cross your heart, right hand up to God. It's like when you put your hand on the Bible. That's what I do. And I'm telling you that this song did something to me when I heard it. Thank you.
It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And I had no idea when we cut the song or when we filmed the video that it would resonate so much in times like these.
Right.
We had to obviously socially distance at the time. And so I took every guy in the band and filmed them at a different location. The lead singer, of course, got Mount Rushmore because he's the lead singer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was going to say, you got the best location.
Dude, I'm telling you, the day that we filmed that footage was just so surreal, because you go to Mount Rushmore on the first beautiful day of spring in April on a Saturday afternoon, and you pull in, there's nobody in the parking.
No one there.
It's $10 to park. Just pull right in. Free parking. Pull in. There's nobody there. No security guards. Nobody at the gift shop.
Wow.
And
wow.
To be able to go in there, and there's nobody here. I jumped the fence, right, and I filmed my footage in front of Mount Rushmore on a day that you're never going to get an opportunity like that.
Yeah,
again.
it's a once in a lifetime situation to be able to do that, and you captured it.
The footage that we filmed of the keyboard player, our keyboard player, Dakota Scott Schmidt, at Terrace Park in Sioux Falls. That's a pretty special place for us in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where I live, because we do a benefit every year there for Feeding South Dakota. It's a charity event we do there. And normally you go there on a Saturday afternoon, and it's going to be packed with families picnicking and kids playing on the playground and all that. And the day we went there to film his footage, there's nobody there. It
wow.
was just, I'm not a fan of the lockdown. I'll tell you that right now. But it certainly gave us the opportunity to film an epic music video for Red, White, and Blue.
Yeah, and it is definitely epic, let me tell you, for sure.
Thank you.
Right on. And I did want to give a shout out to another great album that is fairly recent, right? How old is this right now, Ron?
Hey, last year, brother. Last year.
Yeah, last year.
And
so many great tunes on this. Girls Like Me, which had a video to that too. That's a great video. The title track I love, Long Way Down. Great album that I highly recommend. About a year old right now. And this is the Ron Keel band, right? Fight Like a Band. So
apparently I've not sent you the new album yet, Mark, but I'll get one in the mail to you right now. It is South by South Dakota.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool.
I love it.
The sales have been off the charts. I cannot believe the response we've gotten to this new record. And the only apprehension I had about releasing a new album at this time, because I know it's a great time for new music,
right,
for people to enjoy the songs and the performances on this record. But I was just apprehensive about asking people to shell out their hard-earned cash for it, because so many of our friends, our family, our neighbors, our friends and fans are out of work or unemployed, and
right,
to ask them to shell out $14.50 or whatever it is for the album was the toughest part of the whole deal. I knew the music was perfect for this time, and one reviewer called it comfort food for the ears, which I'm really proud of. But
I saw that one, and that's 100% true. And at this time, that's needed.
Exactly.
For sure.
And we tried to make it as economical as possible, and keep the price as low as we could online at ronkeel.com. But you get the 8-panel digipack.
Oh, wow.
With the full fold out, and also the autograph poster, which is cool. I've never had a package this cool.
Yeah. Oh, life. Yeah. Ron, that is I love that you did packaging like that. And I mean, for the money, that's worth it, because, a lot of things, you open up the CD, you get like a piece of paper, one sheet. That's, oh my God, that is amazing.
Signed by Ron Keel. It's really cool. I got to tell you the story about the album cover, because, I'm a big fan of the 80s style album packaging, and the album cover means a lot. And the train has always been a part of our motif. It's always been a part of our brand. We have a train built into our drum riser, which blows smoke and lights up, which is really cool. The train, and Train is the opening track on the record.
Right.
And so I'm looking for an image of a train for the new album cover. Got to find a train. It's got to be a train, right? So I'm looking online, Googling trains or photos, images, artwork, whatever. I found thousands of pieces of artwork that just didn't work for me. And I found this one. And it was a piece from a video game from 2015. It was like 5 years old. And I said, I've got to track down this artist. And I went through there was no email link or no way to track down the artist who did this.
Yeah.
And I tracked him down. I finally found him in the south of France. This guy, very reclusive. He's an artist, right? He's an artist.
Right. You can't find him.
I found him in the south of France. And I said, look, dude, I want this picture for my album cover. How much is it going to cost me? And it was days, 3 or 4 days later, that he finally emailed me back and says, dude, I'm a huge Ron Keel fan. I love what you did in the 80s. He's a Keelaholic. And he offered the artwork to us at a very economical rate. And he's part of the team, part of the family. But to find this guy in the south of France, in the middle of nowhere.
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
He was probably blown away when he sees an email from Ron Keel coming in.
He's not on Facebook.
How crazy is that?
He's not on Facebook or social media, or there's no website, there's no nothing. It was a pretty serious effort to track this guy down.
That's a magical moment, in my opinion.
Yeah, and to find him and say, dude, I want this train on my album cover. How much is it going to cost me? He says, you go ahead, dude. And he's Keel fan. That's awesome.
Ron, let me tell you, and Mark, I'll let you go. I just got to tell you, that train, the drum riser, which is a train with that, what is that called on the front of a train that is on the bottom there?
It's like the grill.
A cow catcher.
Yeah, cow catcher. Right.
Okay.
Because it pushes the cows off the tracks. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. That is the album cover is amazing. The drum riser and stage is amazing, and I love that. I just got to tell you, I love that. I loved trains when I was a kid. I really did.
The train's a big part of our thing, man.
I used to want. You remember those striped hats that conductors would wear, or maybe the driver of a train? I always wanted to dress like a train driver when I was a kid. I swear to God.
Not too late, John. Maybe in the
I
next.
That's my next like. I have a band called Like It. My next image, I'll wear the conductor hat.
There you go.
Well, you are definitely the engineer of my evening tonight on Talking Metal. So that's all that matters, man. I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Oh, you bet.
Thanks,
what a great time. Mark Striegel has been a huge part of my career since the VH1 MTV days.
Right, that's true.
I'm like Jekyll and Hyde. I'm like Jekyll and Hyde.
I love it. And Ron, you're amazing. And Ron, you like I said, I've been a fan since back in the Steeler days. But and then of course I had the Kill records, and then with your association with Gene Simmons, that was a big deal, and I thought that was super cool. And I think it's amazing that you're from the South. You and then you moved out to LA, and you lived that whole, you're friends with the Motley Crue guys and all these guys, and then you did a country thing for a while, which was awesome, and now you're doing like a mix of just everything that molds into all of your influences.
Life is about exploring new territory, man. And when you find a place to call home, you got to stay there. I've been there for 20 years now, since my band Iron Horse, and 1999, I was in Italy. I lived in Italy for a year, and during my time there, I wrote a crop of songs that before I left Italy, I wanted to record these tunes to basically create an audio scrapbook of my time in Italy. And me and the guys in the band, I had a 3-piece band at Mama Elio's pub in Sigonella, Sicily, in Italy.
Wow.
An amazing experience, because being the house band 3 nights a week, and I was making $1 million a week. $1 million a week. That was $1 million lira.
Yeah.
In Italian money, that's like
less than dollars, right?
$1 million.
It's like $200, right?
Yeah.
But the thing was, the Italian audience, we had pretty much, the audience was half Italians and half U.S. Navy. It was right across the street from the NAS 2 Sigonella Navy base. And so we had a lot of American military there. I'd been on tour with the DOD. I worked for the Department of Defense for several years in 1998, 1999, 2000, touring the Mediterranean and Europe, entertaining our troops on those military bases. And just an amazing experience working for the DOD, entertaining our military servicemen and servicewomen on those bases. But after the tour was over, I'd been on the road for 7 years and I was burned out and I was done, ready to hang out on the beach and drink wine and eat pizza. After about 3 weeks, I got the itch to play and sing. So I started doing this gig at Mama Elio's Pub in Sigonella, Sicily, of all places.
That is insane. Amazing.
And we did that house gig for 6 months, and we would play all styles of music. We would play country and rock. We ended the show every night with Stairway to Heaven. We would play whatever we wanted to play. And the audience was just gravitated to the voice. The Italian people especially. The voce, el voce. It was the voice that grabbed them. And plus, they would drive for hundreds of miles around to see the crazy American with the headset microphone jumping around on the table, singing, and they did. Just an amazing experience. So while I was there, I wrote a batch of songs. And before I left Italy that summer, I wanted to go in the studio and record an audio scrapbook of the songs I'd written while I was there. Basically, just a self-indulgent project, not for business purposes. I just wanted to record these songs. And once we got done with the session, I went back to the bar. Okay, it's midnight. I've had a few, and I go back to the bar, and I tell the bartender, put the CD in the player, crank it up. And he puts the CD of the demo in the player. And there's a guy on the left of me. He's in I don't know if they were Italian guys or Navy guys, or it was Americans and Italians both in the bar. But the guy on the left said, "Man, that's great country music. I love country music. That's fantastic." And the guy on the right says, "Man, that fucking rocks." Yeah. And this guy thinks it's country.
It's country, right.
And this guy thinks it's rock. I think I've got something here. This is a blend or a hybrid, something special that maybe could be my future, or a comfortable place for me to call home, so to speak. So I formed a band called Iron Horse in 2000, and we had a lot of dreams come true at that time. But the style of music hasn't changed, even though the band name has changed from Iron Horse to Badlands House Band to Ron Keel Band. That style of music, that Southern rock hybrid, and that's the best description for it. If you combine metal and country, and you want a simple description for it, it's Southern rock. Even though that geographical term doesn't do it justice, because this is human rock. This is it doesn't matter if you're from Mississippi or Montana or California.
Right.
This music resonates within the hearts and souls of everybody, and I can proudly say on this new album, South by South Dakota, these are great songs, because I didn't write any.
Right.
I mean,
you write great songs, but these are all amazing songs as well. And the thing I like is that you do put, there. I can hear a little metal influence. I can hear Southern influence. I can hear what you said. It's a perfect hybrid, which creates its own thing.
Exactly. I'd be interested to hear Mark's opinion, because you've heard both records. I know you love Fight Like a Band, Mark, and I appreciate that.
Definitely.
But to me, this album is more metal than Fight Like a Band was.
I can see that. I can see that. I mean, but maybe a little more like straight ahead hard rock, on full for whereas Fight Like a Band has a lot of diversity. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
But both great records, and you've been putting out so much music consistently through the years. I do want to quickly mention Patreon, where you do an amazing job for us Keel fans who support you on Patreon, giving us so much stuff. I mean, I don't want to go into the whole, Black Sabbath thing because I know you've shared that with me before, but like I was blown away when you threw up the actual demo for us patrons on Patreon to hear of your Black Sabbath audition, right? That was basically what that was.
It,
that was
exactly.
Spencer Prophet. That was the guy who did that, right?
Spencer Prophet was the executive producer and my manager during the time that I was involved with Black Sabbath, and Dana Strum produced the demo.
Right on. So anyways, Patreon, Ron Keel's Patreon is highly recommended. Highly recommended. And every time I have Ron on, I got to start talking about the Steeler record and, of course, the Right to Rock record. And believe it or not, Ron, I still have more. I've probably asked you 20 questions on those records already, and I still have more. But let's talk about the album in between those records. One that I really love to this day. Can you share about this record? Now, this was Mike Varney still involved, who, of course, was involved with Steeler. He produced this, right, Ron?
No, Ron Keel produced that. Look at the back cover, and it says produced by Ron Keel. And that was a testament to Varney. He gave me the latitude to produce that
produced by Ron
record on my own.
But it was on his label, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that certainly got Gene Simmons' attention and the attention of a lot of people in the business. And that was
look at that album cover. That got my attention as a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
If you post that album cover on Facebook, it'll get blocked or
wow,
banned or whatever you call it.
Wow.
Because it's I don't know, but it was it resonates still to this day. The Late on the Law, the revolt, that rock and roll was built upon. I mean, the stance against authority that lay down the law. We are the law. We are rockers. We are the future. We're the metal generation, so to speak. And that record is certainly very special to me in a lot of ways. It got lost in the shuffle because during the sessions, we got signed to Gold Mountain A&M Records, and all of a sudden Gene Simmons was producing our major label debut before that album was even released. So It did kind of get lost in the storm of that Right to Rock release, which happened in January of '85. But Late on the Law has become a very special part of the Keel legacy and a very special record for a lot of our fans who love those original versions of the songs.
Yeah, because three of the songs were then repeated on the Right to Rock record.
That's correct. Because
including the Stones cover.
We got signed, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there with Gene Simmons, and we had no new songs except a basic riff live recording of the Right to Rock music. And I sat there with Gene in his hotel room at the Beverly Hills Hotel and played the cassette for him and sang the vocal. There's no vocal on the cassette tape. It's just music.
Wow, so you sang along with it.
So I sang along with the cassette tape in Gene's face. And this is a guy who 7 years before that, he was spitting in my face. I'm the guy in the front row at my first concert at Tarrant County Convention Center, seeing Kiss, my first concert ever as a teenager. And I'm right in the front row because I'm the biggest, tallest guy, and I fought my way to the front row, and I'm right there in front of Gene Simmons, and he's spitting blood on me, and I feel the heat of his flames when he breathes fire. 7 years later, we're sitting side by side in the studio recording this Right to Rock album. What an amazing experience and memory for me. But he looked at me when we cut this record, and he looked at me and said, "You know, you're going to be singing this song for the rest of your life, right?" And I go, and I'm still singing it. He was right. Gene is right. Rule number one: Gene's always right.
Yeah.
And God, what a huge influence on me and a great inspiration, even to this day. The last time I saw Gene, a couple years ago here in Sioux Falls, Kissed at an Unplugged concert at Badlands Pond.
I remember that.
And I'm on the radio. I'm in the radio booth doing my DJ gig, got the headphones on, doing my shtick on the radio. I saw Gene and Paul and Eric and Tommy walk into the building, and they're all out there kind of browsing in the lobby of Badlands Pond. And I played a song. I probably played a 7-minute song so I could take a break and take the headphones off and go out there. I walked out the door, and Gene saw me and just opened his arms. And he walked up to me and he put me in this big, huge bear hug. He didn't say shit, man. Just this big, huge, strong, powerful hug. And that meant so much to me after all these years, after 35 years of my appreciation for him. You know, I'm a very, very small thread in the tapestry of Gene Simmons or Kiss or that whole thing. But he is a big, big part of the fabric of my career. And to have Gene walk up to me, he didn't say shit, man. He just put me in a big, huge, and he wouldn't let go. And he squeezed as tight as he could. It was like, it's Gene. I have nothing but love and respect and admiration and gratitude for what Gene did for me and for my career. That first record, of course, Gene produced it. The musical knowledge and expertise that he passed on to me is invaluable. How to make a great record, how to sing, how to record, how to get those kick drum patterns engaged with the bass guitar patterns, how to really put the songs together. That's invaluable. That's always going to be with me. The friendship, the business that he passed on to me, and the fact that when that record came out in January of 1985, the Kiss Army embraced us. And you guys are both members, I know.
Absolutely,
the Kiss
no doubt
Army
about it.
embraced us. It's a great song. Right to Rock is a fantastic, all-time classic 80s rock anthem. The album cover itself is one of the greatest album covers of all time. The fact that MTV was playing it on MTV every day.
Right.
But I give full credit to Gene, man. The Kiss Army embraced us because Gene produced us. We sold 90,000 records that first week, and it was off. It was on. It was off. Whatever. It was just the start of an amazing ride that is still continuing to this day. And I've been asked a lot of times in interviews, will you do another Keel record? Because I'm always doing the Ron Keel Band's been my primary focus for 5 years now. 5 years, half decade straight. Ron Keel Band is what it's all about. That's my focus. That's what it's all about. And we did a reunion album in 2010, Streets of Rock and Roll, which I feel is the best Keel record ever. I'm extremely proud of that record we released on Frontiers in 2010. And would you follow that up? Would you do another Keel record? I'll give you the answer right now. I'll do it if Gene produces it.
Oh, all right.
Wow. That's awesome.
And, and I don't care how much it costs. He's worth it.
Right.
I will do a Keel finale, Keel over, whatever you want to call it. I'll do another Keel album with Gene.
That's
Absolutely,
awesome. Well, we're going to have to make sure Gene sees this so that he can produce your record. And, I think the coolest thing is that when you were in that hotel room in the Beverly Hills Hotel, he heard that Right to Rock and said, you're going to sing that song for the rest of your life. Because he knew right then, even on a cassette demo, with you singing live to it.
Hey, Ron, let me ask you something. That specific song, I remember seeing the video for it as a kid, but I didn't have MTV because we didn't have cable in our town. Was it on Friday Night Videos? Does that ring a bell to you?
It was on all those shows, Friday Night Videos and Saturday Night Live. No, it wasn't on Saturday Night Live.
Friday night, because I believe I taped it on my beta.
It must have been on Friday Night Videos because I didn't have cable either, and I saw the Right to Rock video. So,
well, it certainly got a lot of exposure and a lot of play, which helped us at that time. But I give all the credit to Gene. I mean, that the song, the album cover, the obviously the exposure that we had back in the day we only had a couple of outlets: Circus Magazine, Cream, Hit Parader, MTV. That was it. And you got all your sources from those. We all, as rock fans and metal fans, That's where we got our information from. Nowadays, you get it from a million different sources, and that's why everybody has 200 fans. But back then, it was instantaneous. If you get one play on MTV or Don Kirshner's rock concert or American Bandstand or whatever, it was huge, and it meant so much to the artists. And I'm lucky that I was in a place where I had the perfect storm with a great album, a great song, Gene Simmons producing, and a great album cover. If you're flipping through the bins at the record store and you see that Right to Rock album cover, you're gonna buy it. I mean, it's just that cool. So I'm really proud of that.
Well, it's amazing, and I was one of those kids who went to the record store and bought the vinyl. And I didn't buy that many vinyl records of bands. I have that record.
Nice.
Absolutely. I have the vinyl too. And then you guys did a 25-year anniversary on CD, which had some cool bonus tracks on it.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Dude.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that on my Patreon today. We're going to release tomorrow on Patreon the unreleased track from the Japanese edition of the 25th anniversary edition of the Right to Rock album, Reason to Rock, which was a bonus track on the record. So, yeah, to have Frontiers come back and re-release that on our 25th anniversary. And what are we looking at now? I lost count. Is it 38? I don't know.
What?
30.
I can't
keep track. What is it? It's 2020. Definitely.
And that came out in
84?
85.
85.
You do the math.
35.
So 35.
35?
35
years.
Nice even number.
35 years.
I like that.
Ron,
man, I love looking back. Back, and I appreciate the accomplishments, the dreams come true, the records, 3 albums on the Billboard charts, touring with Bon Jovi and Motley Crue, and opening up for Van Halen at the Texas Jam, and Aerosmith at their comeback show at Foxborough Stadium, Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Wow.
Open for Aerosmith.
Wow.
It's got so many dreams come true.
Run.
But I live for today. I work for tomorrow. I treasure the past. The past is great, man. The 80s are fantastic, but 1866 was great. I didn't get to experience that, but when you could, frontier justice, I think we need a little bit of that right about now. But we won't get into the social issues. Hopefully, or we could if you want. But I mean, the 60s were amazing. The Beatles and the Stones. The 70s were great. The 80s were great. 2020, I know that everybody is, and I see this every year on social media because we're all social media addicts now, and we have to be tied into that. And everybody's always hoping for a better year next year, or 2020 sucks. I feel guilty. Even saying that 2020 has been great to me.
Good for you.
Yeah.
We had the Monsters of Rock cruise in February.
Right.
Got to see Cozumel and Belize. We were on the cruise with Tesla and so many of our favorite bands for the 10th Monsters of Rock cruise. I got to experience Australia for the first time in my life. My first tour of Australia on the Melodic Rock Fest tour, 5 shows. And no matter what you may have heard or seen on social media, the tour was great. The shows were great. The fans are fantastic. The response from the Australian fans about the new album, South by South Dakota, is off the chain. So that was an amazing dream come true for me to be able to tour Australia for the first time ever. And then I expected to be home from mid-March to mid-April, working the new record and doing interviews and working on new songs and rehearsing and doing my thing at home. It's now hitting a little harder because some of the gigs have been canceled, and we weren't able to do the shows over Memorial Day weekend that we were hoping to do. But it's been a great year for me already, and I feel bad for the people that are struggling or suffering or dealing with COVID-19 or the civil unrest or all the stuff that everybody out in the real world is dealing with. But for me, it's been really good, man. The new album, it was very tough to make that decision to release an album at this time. Not because of the touring aspect, but because, first of all, how do we ask our friends and our fans and our people out there to shell out 14, 15 bucks for the new record when they're unemployed or maybe out of work or struggling or uncertain of what's going on in the world? That was the difficult part for me. And the response has been overwhelming, to say the least. I'm looking at the sales sheets and I'm looking at it. I'm seeing Keel fans from 20, 30 years ago that I remember their names.
Yeah.
And they're buying the new record and they're enjoying it and they're giving me this great response. So I feel bad even asking people for, hey man, buy my shit, you know, send me some money and I'll send you a CD. That was the only apprehensive part of it, because I know that the world, our culture, our society, our people, our fans, our friends, they need what I've got right now. This music is perfect for the for grilling outside, for four-wheel driving in your truck, or for just listening to be the soundtrack of your summer of 2020.
Absolutely.
So I'm proud of the response that we've gotten, and I appreciate all the fans that have sheltered their hard-earned cash, or cash they may not have even had, to buy this new record and enjoy it.
I understand that you were feeling bad, but I think you should erase that, because here's the thing. I think that it's doing more to help the people, because this was the soundtrack of their lives growing up, and they're hearing these songs that they love done by an artist that they're a fan of. You get amazing packaging, and I know what it takes to put together one of those multi-fold jewel boxes or whatever that's called. And I mean, you're getting an amazing thing. You're getting signed posters. The songs are great, which I want to hit a little more. I love the title. I love the cover. You put so much work into this for years, and the biggest thing is that it's making the people that are buying this feel happy in this difficult time. And for that reason, you should feel great about this.
Well said, John. And Ron, where can people get this? Is it on the website? It's everywhere, right? It's on Amazon.
Well, yeah. The one-stop shop is ronkeel.com. The links to the store and the Spotify, iTunes, whatever your platform of choice is, you can find that at ronkeel.com. There's links to all that stuff. If you want to listen on Spotify, that's great. We love it. iTunes, you want an autographed CD, ronkeelshop.com. But everything is tied into that one-stop hub, ronkeel.com.
Cool. And we will have that linked through the show notes on talkingmetal.com for the podcast version of this. And Ron, it's always great talking with you. We love hanging with you. John and I are both big fans, from the old days.
I love Ron, let's hear some great acoustic guitar for a minute.
I love you guys, man. Thank you so much for keeping the fire burning and doing what you're doing to keep rock and roll alive. We don't have no plastic LA friends, ain't on the edge of no popular trends. Ain't ever seen the inside of that magazine GQ. We don't care if you're a lawyer, Texas old man, or some baby's busting ass at some liquor stand. If you got soul, we hang out with people just like you. My hair's turning white, my neck's always been red, collar's still blue. We've always been here, just trying to sing the truth to you. Yes, you could say we've always been red, white, and blue. Ride our own backs to struggles, pay our own dues, smoking camels and drinking domestic brews. You want to know where I've been? Just look at my hands. Yeah, we broke by the White House, spent some time in jail. Mama cried, but she still wouldn't pay my bail. I ain't been no angel, but even God, he understands. I hope so. My hair's turning white, the neck's always been red, my collar's still blue. We've always been here, just trying to sing the truth to you. Yes, you could say we've always been red, white, and blue. Yeah, that's right. We'll thank Mark Striegel, Sean Astronomy, for having me on the show tonight.
That's awesome, Ron.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. Love that.
My hair's turning white, neck's always been red, collar's still blue, but always been here, just trying to sing the truth to you. Guess you could say we've always been red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Oh, you know, you know, you know. And red, white, and blue doesn't just mean America. It means all of us around the world that believe in the same thing, or fight for the same thing. Friendship, peace, and rock and roll.
Ron, that was amazing.
That was absolutely incredible. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you for that.
Well, I usually keep a guitar handy.
Yeah.
Ron, you are such a great musician to be able to do that right there and then live. I love that song. I love the words. The lyrics are really great. And you doing it, and especially since you've been around the world with the DOD doing what you did, means even more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It means a lot to me to be on the show with you guys tonight. You know, Striegel has been a dear friend of mine for a long time.
Likewise.
And he's like Jekyll and Hyde, this guy.
Yeah, I am like Jekyll and Hyde. I'm the Jekyll and Hyde.
He looks normal like one day, then he's a rocker the next day.
It's one of the highlights of my entire career, Mark, that VH1 clip.
Right.
And can't thank you enough for your friendship and your support through the years, man. Thanks for having me on the show tonight. I hope that your listeners and viewers enjoyed it. I surely did. And I only had one beer.
Wow, you gotta go get another one, man.
I'm ready for a refill.
Yeah. Well, cheers to you, Ron.
Cheers to Ron. And Ron, before we let you go, fast non-music related question. Is there a Hard Rock casino in Sioux Falls?
Right outside of Sioux Falls, 20 minutes away, Grand Falls Casino in Larchmont, Iowa, where we had our CD release party for Fight Like a Band last year. And it's a great venue, a great casino, 20 minutes right outside of Sioux Falls. But as of now, I don't know that they're having live entertainment yet or what the plans are for live entertainment in this region. I've got 2 gigs next weekend, and I'm doing these are biker gigs, man. A lot of them are bike events. I'm doing the Clark County Riders Motorcycle Run next Friday night, 1 week from right now, and then an acoustic gig at the lake at Lake Madison Hillside Resort. Who knows what the future of live music is going to be? And Mark, I saw your post just before we went on the air about the testing.
It seems a little too much to me to have to do.
Yeah, I saw that too, like getting into festivals.
It's fascinating what you guys do, and I want to certainly give a plug to your Patreon, Mark Striegel. your Patreon page where we get to comment on songs and videos, whether they're classic or relevant or whatever, and all the stuff that you do on social media. I'm riveted by some of the posts, and I get a lot of my information from you. And that was a very intriguing post about the testing, positive testing before you go to a concert. Dude, what are we going to do with the NFL?
Right.
And I'm a huge football fan. I love the NFL. That's my one hobby. That's the only sidetrack that I get from year to year. What if one guy on one team tests positive? Are we going to cancel the season?
Yeah. Well, I guess we don't know. One thing I do know is that we are going to be all rocking again live. The fans, the musicians are all going to be one again. I have no doubt that day is going to come sooner than later. I'm optimistic. I like to think maybe it could even happen this year. Everyone's like, oh, 2020 is a wash. Maybe not. We'll see. But I know one thing: we're going to be rocking again because live music is my life, and so many other people just live for that. And that's why we're so thankful for people like you, Ron, who are, you give us that live music, but even in this downtime, you're giving us new music. As John really said well earlier, I think it's important at this time.
Thank you. And, I love what I do. Everything that I do, the radio show, the podcast, the book, the Patreon, all that stuff, it's really all so that I can get on stage and be that guy. So I can grab the mic and the guitar and feel the energy of the crowd and sweat and pour my heart out and do what I do. It keeps me young, keeps me fresh, keeps me viable. I don't know what more terms. It keeps me. And
alive, yeah.
If it keeps me alive, if I can't do that anymore, wow! I've had some great memories and great dreams come true. I do hope for the best. I'm as you know, Mark. I'm a very positive guy, and we've faced a lot of adversity over the last 50 years, and I'd like to think that we will experience that again together. And so I hope to see all of our fans and friends out there in the front row and out there in the crowd and being able to do what we love to do. I'll hope for the best and keep working towards that goal.
Right on.
Hey,
well, thank you again, Ron.
Yeah. And Ron, if they allow New York and New Jersey people out there to where you're doing gigs, Mark, let's get on a plane, one of these gigs, maybe not the next one, but one of these ones. And I swear to God, I'll fly out there to see you sing this and play this stuff live.
Thank you, brother. Well, I'll just fly to your house. It seems like you got a lot of guitars.
Oh yeah, Ron, you can play. You can use any of these on tour, on stage, whatever you need. I got more in the next room too. So whatever you need,
I bet you do.
This is your thing. If you're coming to this area, you want me to bring one, I'll bring it. But just know that in the New York, New Jersey area, you got your whole guitar arsenal.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
For sure,
you guys are awesome. Thanks for keeping up the rock and roll spirit and doing what you do, not only in these difficult times, but you guys have been doing this for a long time. Talking metal has been a big part of our life and our culture for a long time. And I'm happy that it will be for a long time to come. And I'm glad to be a part of it again tonight.
All right. You be well, Ron. Thanks so much. And we will catch up soon.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
All right.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Keel.
Ron.
All right, John.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Take care. Man, that was just unbelievable.
Awesome. Wow, this is a very special show tonight. I feel like we've really, just as a fan, I think we've hit it out of the park. I'm sorry to honk our own horn, but John, we got a few minutes left here. I want to ask you about your guitars because we've been going through all these beautiful guitars that you have behind you there, and I got to get in close to look at the Let's go with it would be my left, so I guess it'd be your right. It's like 3 in.
Okay.
Got the Ace guitar. What one is that?
This one. These are both Ace, but this is the third one.
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay. me pull this out. You know, it's hard to
tell us about this, because I know every one of your guitars tend to have a story, and I love.
It's so
being a
funny
guitar guy myself. Obviously, got the Explorer back there. I just love hearing these stories. So fill us in on this guy.
Thank you. I'll tell you the truth. It's hard to follow Simon Wright and Ron Keel and the amazing performance by Ron Keel of the Red, White, and Blue song. God, that was just unbelievable. But I'll make this quick, guys. So this is a really special guitar to me. And you know what? Alexa, I got to change the lights here. Alexa, turn spotlights white. Okay, Alexa, turn spotlights 50%.
Okay.
Alexa, turn spotlights 10%. Okay. I want you to see what it really looks like. So this is a Gibson Ace Frehley Budokan Les Paul. And the reason this is so special to me is not only was it the guitar that I saw Ace play in photos from 1976 on, but the reason this is twice as special is that Ace gave one of his personal Budokan Gibson USA guitars to me as a Christmas gift. And how amazing is this? And he was cool enough to sign it on the back of the headstock for me. So this is just something that
from Ace.
What's that?
It was a Christmas gift from Ace. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's a cherry sunburst, two-piece top, maple top, mahogany back, super Grover pearl or pearloid, I'm not sure, mother of pearl tuners, block inlays. I think this is a rich light neck, which is a substitution for ebony. It's just the classic guitar that you see Ace with in all the great Kiss pictures. And so even if I just had this guitar, I would think it would be cool if I went to the Guitar Center or Sam Ash or Manny's or any of the great historic stores, or Music Haven, my favorite store in Johnstown, PA, or Ford Music or University Music, where I used to work. This would mean something. But the fact that Ace gave this to me as a Christmas gift, that means the world to me. And then that he signed it, and on the headstock, of course, where I asked him to sign that on the headstock, was just super cool. How cool was that?
Absolutely amazing. Looks amazing. And what a story that Ace, I had no clue Ace gave you that. And my kids just ran down and turned the light on. So hold on.
Okay, guys, boy, after both of those interviews, I'm like, I'm like at a loss for words. It's almost
I'm a little emotionally drained because
me too. I swear to God,
in a good way.
Yeah,
those were excellent interviews. And I have to admit, when Ron played that Skynyrd song, I was moved. That was really amazing.
Yeah, I really was. I wish I had.
We won't go real late tonight. I guess Bud Friendly's not coming back. I wasn't sure if he was coming back. But
I wanted to hold up a lighter, because that was just such and that song's not really a ballad, but the way he did it on the acoustic guitar was great. If you hear I love that version, and that's a historic thing that Ron did that on Talking Metal.
Yeah, and it made me think, if we're going to continue doing these live streams, which I love doing, we could, in theory, I mean, it's hard to pull something off like that. I mean, Ron's so talented, but we could, in theory, ask people to, hey, if you want to do a song acoustic live on the stream, be our guest, which I think that could be.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be. You got to be really good to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't sit here with an acoustic guitar and be that good and sing and play guitar. I just could not do it. Ron, that's when you got a real musician, and that's like what Gene Simmons saw in Ron, and other top people in industry saw something in Ron early on, and that's why he's had a career that spanned maybe 40 years, 45 years, a long time not 45. I don't want to make Ron older than he is. He's probably just a couple of years older than us, if that. maybe he's younger than us. I don't know, or same age, but he's pretty amazing. And Ron, he's just a great guy. If you know some of the personal stuff about Ron, he's such a good dude too. Right. He is an amazing guy. And I'm so happy that he came on the show. And Simon Wright, let's talk about Simon Wright too. I mean, how many people do you know? I mean, I am blown away by the fact that he played in AC/DC, DIO, UFO. I mean, Queensryche. I mean, how crazy is this? That'd be like, hi, I'm a drummer. Oh, what band you in? Oh, I'm in Kiss, Def Leppard, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. Like, people would be like, what are you, an idiot? Like, and you're lying. No, he played in all those bands.
Well, Pearl is here.
Hi, Pearl.
And Emily's
I love Pearl. So we've had Ozzy on, and now we have Pearl on. And I like how well behaved Pearl is.
I hate you might not. Ozzy died.
No, I said we had Ozzy on in the past, and now we have had Pearl on.
Yeah, I thought you meant earlier tonight. And Emily's hanging out.
Hi, Emily. Emily, just so you know, I hope you can hear this.
People were screaming. I heard you shrieking.
Can Emily hear me?
I was riding the mute button.
No, it was happy.
How can Emily hear us? Because are you listening in headphones?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
no.
Good.
Yeah.
So Emily, I know.
Hey,
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Pardon my appearance. I worked an 11-hour work day, and then, oh my God, I look terrible.
You look great.
I cooked dinner for my family, and then
look at that beautiful family.
And then I watched a movie with my babies, including this one. And then I just put them to bed, and cool. I'm so tired.
Yeah, John and I were just talking about how after this episode, it was an emotional episode. We're pretty drained, so we're probably going to wrap it up.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to say hi. I shouldn't have even. Oh my God.
No, I'm glad you came on, Emily. I was going to ask Mark. I was going to say, where's Emily?
Yeah, it's been a long day, but a beautiful day. And
it's been a great day. It's been a great day. And Emily, I don't know if you were watching or if you were busy doing other stuff, but you got to watch this episode. Pretty amazing.
Ron busted out his guitar.
I love Ron. I love Ron Keel. Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
I love you guys so much. I just want to say
thank you, Emily.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. And we're going to probably be done in like 10 minutes or so.
Let me put this guitar down real quick, Mark, just so I don't have to hold it.
Do you want to do a brush with greatness, or should we just call it a night?
You know what?
Either way.
I think we should do a quick brush with greatness, and then we'll call it a night because the episode was so good, and we'll wrap it up, and then we'll start fresh next week. But let's do a brush with greatness. Okay, so this is the segment where I quiz Mark on wild things, and sometimes it's that both of us did, and sometimes it's that Mark did.
Yeah, encounters with greatness or fame is basically the theme of this.
Right.
It's a ripoff of a Letterman skit from the 80s, yeah.
Okay. Now, I have one that I know about that's not rock, but I just think it's cool. And you could technically classify it as rock, but Susan Sarandon.
Right. Okay. So I worked on. Boy, let me think. So it would have been. I want to say it was either the 15-year anniversary or maybe the 20-year anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show documentary. So it was basically.
I'm going to get in close.
Yeah,
for this
documentary celebrating that. What year did that movie come out? By the way, do we know?
I don't know.
Rocky, or let's just see, because I'm guessing it was 75. So it would have been the 20-year anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I worked at VH1, and we did a special on it, and we interviewed everyone, everyone from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, many of who lived in the New York area where we were producing the show for VH1. And we went to interview all these people. Everyone agreed to talk about the Rocky Horror Picture Show except Tim Curry, the one of the main stars of the show, because he was embarrassed by it, which I always find crazy. Like when these stars, the biggest role of their life, they're ashamed of it, and they're like, you know. And
I mean, that's
actually
such a great character.
Yeah, I could name some names of people, but I'm not going to do it. That I've actually had like personal encounters with who, you know, okay, that's your biggest role, and you don't want anyone to know about it. But I'm not going to go there. But anyways, so Tim wouldn't talk to us, and Tim in the '90s. No offense to Tim, but he was really not a big star in 1995. Susan Sarandon, on the other hand, in 1995 was the biggest star around. I mean, you know, she had just so many massive movies from Thelma and Louise to, I mean, she was like the big star of the late 80s, early 90s. So, and this is, I feel like the climax of this story is going to be a dud, but anyways,
it's rock and roll. It's surely rock and roll.
So anyways, I was working at VH1 and I had been out drinking pretty heavily the night before the interview. And sometimes these interviews have early call time. So she invited us to her husband's studio. And what was that guy's name? Tim Robbins? Was that his name?
Tim Roth or I don't know. Maybe Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins, yeah.
Tim Robbins.
They're divorced now. But anyway, she invited us to her husband's studio in it wasn't Soho.
Was it like 6th Avenue and
yeah, it was more like the garment.
Chelsea?
Yeah, it was.
You said more garment district?
Yeah, that's the way I remember it. It could have been Chelsea though, like Union Square area, probably. So okay. I guess Chelsea. So, anyways, in Manhattan. So, anyways, I got there at like 8 a.m., which for VH1ers that was a very early time. I mean,
especially at that time. I mean, I was of course at the company at the same time, and that's early for us. I never got into work.
We may have been roommates at this point too. To come with that. But anyways, I got there. I remember I was all grunged out. I had like kind of longer hair and looked like a bum, which was cool in 1995.
I didn't hear what you said. You had long hair.
I looked like a bum, like a grunge bum, which I said was actually considered cool in 1995. Yeah. And I get there and she's no one's there. So I go into I guess you call it the area between where the main door is and where the door is, like, is
that called the vestibule?
Yeah. So I go in there and I got a coffee and I'm all hungover and tired and I just kind of crash and I'm just sitting there like leaning up against the wall with my eyes closed, kind of nursing a hangover and drinking a coffee. And I may have even kind of drifted off. And all of a sudden the door flies open, boom. And she's like, "Oh, hello." And it's Susan Sarandon and her assistant. And I'm sitting on the floor and I'm so embarrassed. And I stand up. I was like, he was like, "Can we help you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm Mark from VH1. We're doing an interview with you. I got here early because the camera crew's coming." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she was totally cool.
That's great.
This 20-something,
like grungy guy,
sleeping in her vestibule. And she was like, "Come on in." She's like, "Let's have a seat. Let's get all set up." And she was like, "How are you today? Do you want a bagel?" Like she was so like.
Man. Now was this like her own building or was this an apartment building?
It was like it was like it was Chelsea, like it was like New York. It was like a loft. It was like
okay.
It wasn't her apartment. It was like a work loft that they they had computers set up and they did their showbiz movie work
stuff there, right?
Yeah, they had their little office of people there. Big flat. So that's it. Pretty uneventful, but we interviewed her.
That's a great story.
Yeah, she spoke so fondly about her time in Rocky Horror, and this was the person we figured would never talk to us because she was a Hollywood
real star,
superstar in 1995. And meanwhile, it was the guy Tim Curry who was so mad that he had been typecast, as Frankenfooter, that he was the guy who wouldn't talk to us. So, anyways, we did a little interview with her, and we used it in our half-hour documentary, may have been an hour, I don't remember, on the 20-year anniversary of Rocky Horror. And she spoke about, I remember when I had to kiss Brad and and she was so into Rocky Horror that I just thought it was so cool because, Rocky Horror, it was kind of like a lot of people made fun of it and stuff. It was kind of a geek thing, and I could see people who wanted to be Joe Hollywood not want to embrace that, but she absolutely did. I'm certainly on.
Well, Mark,
and
I think that's a great
looked
story.
Great. She probably at the time was like 40 in her 40s.
Wow.
She could have been, which to somebody in their mid 20s is old. But I remember thinking, wow, she really looks great up close and in person. And, and she was so kind and cool. So that's my memories of Susan Sarandon.
Well, I think that's an amazing story. It's a Brush with Greatness. It's a rock story. You were a rocker. That's funny that you might have
do the Sean Penn one at some time too.
Okay, we'll come up with that one.
There, because that one's really good. And
I'm sorry that this is not that, the etiquette level is not high for me doing this when I'm eating these olives. When I was a kid, which I can't believe I'm my age, I would have never ate an olive ever.
I can't stand them. I can't.
You might have had the wrong olives. You got to try different. I'll give you an olive array one day. You come here, I'll give you different olives. You can take them. I don't like the ones that are like black. Black ones I don't like that you put on like tacos.
Right.
I don't like those, but I like other ones.
I will come and eat olives with you, definitely. And we got to fly to South Dakota and rock out with Ron.
Let's do it. I'm not even kidding. I mean, right now, like with all, being in my apartment for a couple of months has been strange, and I'm ready to go anywhere that we're allowed to go, where states open up, and then allow people from other states to come. That's the weird thing, because we're like New York people, New York, New Jersey, and I'm not even sure if we're allowed to go places. Right. Because, sometimes if you're like a New Yorker.
Stuff is reopening apparently, but.
Yeah. So we're going to have, for all you people, a news break right here. Talking Metal News, June 15th. Outdoor seating at restaurants happening in New Jersey, our current home state.
It's just it's too much, but yeah. Anyways, let's Victor on Facebook is claiming that you may have said accidentally Suzanne Summers at one point during the season.
Oh, I meant Suzanne.
Which I worked with Suzanne Summers, Victor. Yeah. So that's stay tuned for a future Brush with Greatness where I talk about working with Suzanne Summers, who was so freaking cool and so down to earth. Her husband was a little creepy, but she was very cool. And
so cool means he had a crush on her, by the way.
And let me tell you, Mark,
go ahead.
Oh, I had a Brush with Greatness with Suzanne Summers too, so maybe I was internally thinking of that. I meant Susan Sarandon, but Suzanne Summers will save how about we do a dual Brush with Greatness on a future episode?
Yeah. And then Bert Gabriel saying, can you talk about Code Orange? Honestly, they're the greatest band nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah, Bert, I don't. We have spoken about them. Emily's spoken about them on the podcast like 2 years ago. I don't really have anything to say about them, but yeah, they're cool. I mean, I hear their songs. They're cool. I don't know what I can say. So there you go, Bert. I don't know enough about them. Emily liked some of their tunes, and we played them on the podcast probably at the end of 2017. So go back and look for that episode. Bert Gabriel says Mark has a non-pleasant story with Anthony Kiedis. Wow, you got a good memory.
Wow. That's going to be on a future one.
That's a very short story, but I could tell about a rude.
Okay, we got upcoming stuff.
It's 4 a.m. In Spain, so Victor has to go to bed, I think. I had 5 minutes with Suzanne Summers a few days ago, if you know.
Wow. That's insane.
I don't know.
I think I know what that means. But guess what, guys? I have to, before we go, I have to say something sad. And when I was out with Ace on one of the last couple of shows that I tour managed before I started playing in Like It and then being an opening act, we did a festival, and we stayed in a casino. I think it was in Wisconsin, and coming in for a future day was a band called The Sweet, and my friend Paulie Z was the new singer of The Sweet, and I had the opportunity to meet Steve Priest, who was an original member, legendary bass player, and he recently passed away. It was either yesterday or the day before at the age of 72.
I heard
so
that.
I just want to pay tribute to the great Steve Priest of Sweet, of The Sweet, who was a legendary
influential
musician.
band that never gets the credit that was due. I had that one like weird album that was like a combination of like a few albums, but it was the American release for them, Desolation Boulevard, right?
I think it was a name. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
I have
so
that. That album is just, I think the songs off that album originally were on 3 separate European releases, if I'm not mistaken, but that album is insanity. And I got into them through Crocus, who covered Ballroom Blitz. And
right. Mm-hmm. Lynn's favorite band is Crocus, by the way. And she hung out with Mark Starachi on the Monsters of Rock cruise. Maybe she's got to tell us about that. I'm looking at the reason, guys, I'm looking down at my phone is I'm trying to look at the comments, and I don't know, my phone only gets old comments. Let me try it one more time before we go.
Desolation Boulevard, by the way, was a great record, and that had Fox on the Run on it, Breakdown.
Right, which Ace covered Fox on the Run, of course.
Yeah, that was a great record. So if you don't know that record, that is classic music by Sweet or The Sweet. I don't know
Victor,
why.
Hi, Victor. Hi, Bert Gabriel, David Quinn.
And as far as like
Tommy Summers, Lisa,
and all those 80s metal bands, The Sweet, highly influential band. And didn't Black and Blue cover, and Steve Stevens covered the song by The Sweet? I'm trying to remember what
Lisa Colbert, how are you? And I'm going to do that album challenge. I just haven't done it yet, but if you're still watching, I'm going to do the album challenge. Thanks for including me in that. And you know how people do that on Facebook? My friend Lisa.
I don't have time. I've had like 50 people saying, and I nominate Mark Striegel. And I'm like, oh, God. It's like,
well, I'm going to do it. I nominated a couple of people, and then I dropped off at like the third day. What I think, Lisa, that I'm going to do here is maybe I'll just put 10 albums up.
The song I was trying to think of by The Sweet, Action, which was covered by Black and Blue, Tommy Thayer and Jamie St. James on the first record, and was also covered on Steve Stevens' Atomic Playboy record. Both great versions of that song. Thank you, Victor. Victor is a very knowledgeable guy. So thank you for that.
Mark, you're very knowledgeable too. I'm knowledgeable on certain bands that were associated with Kiss, and bands that
Emily's
my dad's band
cell phone
played.
really loud.
What's that?
Emily's around the corner, like blasting her cell phone.
Well, it's not coming through. Anyway, we had a great show tonight. We thank everybody who watched. I know this is a 2-hour thing. Sometimes it goes longer than that, and
come back, Emily.
People come on and off. But thank you, everybody. This is going to go out on Facebook. It's going to go out on YouTube, which thank you for repurposing it. And then it's going to go out on the podcast. Hello, Emily.
Emily's just saying good night. Def Leppard comes as well.
You know what? We got to have some, let's, have a last toast.
Last toast. And let's end with Action.
Cheers.
The Sweet.
By The Sweet.
Is this water?
No, it's that's Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Wow, I've never had that before. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Oh,
yeah, Bud Light Seltzer.
I think there's some action happening right now on the air.
Action. Yeah. Yes, there is.
Is that action?
Nonstop.
You know the song I Want Action?
God, it's nonstop action here at the Striegel House.
Emily, what are you drinking? I want that.
That's a Cosmo kind of thing. I don't know.
Oh, I have a bottle. It's a Cosmo mix.
Mark says it's too much cranberry.
Yeah, it's weak.
I'm gonna have some of that. I think I have the ingredients. So once we get off, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. So on that note, Bert Gabriel says cheers. David Quinn says Poison. No, the I Want Action by Poison. That's a different song. Right. That's not the Sweet.
No, I was just saying I remember the song I Want Action by Poison. And I was saying that when Emily came over and was talking in your ear, I thought that you might have been getting ready for some action.
Oh, okay. It all goes back to the Sweet song Action. I almost rather play I Want Action by Poison. But maybe that's disrespectful since the guy just died.
Yeah, let's play Action by the Sweet, and then maybe in the podcast version, you run both songs together. The Sweet Action and then Poison I Want Action. Or not. Whatever you choose. Because I love that song I Want Action by Poison.
First Poison record is one of the greatest rock records of all time.
But what if we do with the video, just me sticking my tongue in Mark's
ear? My earpiece fell out.
Oh.
What?
I couldn't hear my earpiece. So, by the way, I always referred to, action was that, and I'm sorry we're jumping on to another topic, but the word action became a part of my inner vocabulary because of Poison.
Right. Okay.
And I'm going to thank the guys in Poison for that. And I'm a big Poison fan, and love Poison. I think they're great.
Especially the first two records. After that, it's like, But yeah, Poison's great.
So anyway, guys, thank you, Mark. You know what would be really wild is if we do, after COVID, well, maybe we do these in the same spot,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we will. All right. Yeah. Well, my bladder is filled up again, so I do have to stop for real.
Okay. What's that pill you need? It's on the.
I don't know. I keep seeing the commercial. I'm like, holy shit, I need.
Yeah, there's some pill that you take
10 times a night to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, but it might be because I drank 3 beers right before I went to bed. I'm not sure if that's a problem, but I don't think it is because I don't usually drink on Monday or Tuesday, and I still have to get up. So,
well, Mark, let's solve that for your sake. I'm sure you're healthy. Mark, FYI, people, he's like the most healthy dude ever. He jogs and he does all these good things. You eat healthy. I am, on the other hand, the most unhealthy. I eat. If it's fried, I eat it. I can eat a whole pack of bacon if I want. I drank about 24 cans of Coke in the last week and a half. I'm not kidding. Not even diet. And that's that.
Right.
Astronomy diet. Don't do it.
All right.
Whatever I do, you don't do. Guess what, though? One final comment. I'm ruining this great show with these comments. COVID time again has been good to me in one way. I'm becoming a great, in my opinion, cook. I have a great knife technique. I can cut very well. So let's say you're slicing a tomato or a mushroom or an onion. I'm getting just like the people on the cooking shows. Second, I made the best clarified butter that I've ever done in the last couple of days. It looked like a store, and I made lobster. It was amazing.
Wow.
Swear to God. I am getting good.
Butter to dip it in and stuff?
Yeah, and what you have to do is you have to take what's called the milk solids out of the melted butter, and then it's called clarified, and there's another word too that I can't think of right now, butter, and I did that, and I know how to make scallops, which are not very difficult, but if you don't know how to do it, you'll screw it up. Emily likes scallops?
Yeah. She says she makes good scallops, which is true. She does.
Good.
But listen, we got to wrap it because no one's listening at this point because I get the report back on how long of the podcast, and anything over an hour, they'll listen to this one because we're on Keel, but everyone drops off. So,
well, here's the thing. They'll listen to it later, and I guarantee you, maybe we're going to bring a cooking segment into this.
All right.
Okay, yeah. I'm serious. I have a little
pre-roll packages we can roll into the live.
Yeah, we'll say we're going to roll.
It'll help me with my bathroom breaks.
Making scallops. During your bathroom breaks, we'll roll in a pre-tape. That's a TV term, people. Like a pre-tape package of me with a cooking segment. And then on the when we finally get our own channel, one of these wild channels you get on your TV, then we'll have all the different things like astronomy, cooking scallops, astronomy, clarifying butter, all that kind of stuff. Okay, look at that hairdo.
Yeah.
Talking Metal Cooks.
Talking Metal.
Yes.
All
we
right.
should have that this segment. Okay.
Right, so we'll play
everybody.
Action by The Sweet, and we'll save the Poison song for another episode.
Yes, yeah. Let's honor The Sweet right now and Steve. Okay. So thanks, people. Have a great night. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Emily. Thanks to Ron Keel. Thanks to Simon Wright, one of my favorite drummers. Thanks to Ron Keel, one of my favorite vocals.
But friendly.
Vocalist. Not sexy, sexist. You know where that comes from? Ist.
Spinal Tap?
Yes. Yeah. Ist. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. See you next week. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, cool. All right, John.
See you. Bye-bye. End the meeting.